Hi, my name is Erica. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I got this really cool Halloween makeup look. My inspiration for this look was a rag doll that was coming apart at the seams. I absolutely love how this look came out, but I'm not gonna lie, it took me like 2 hours to finish the entire thing. It's not that it was super difficult, it was just time consuming getting the details right. You'll notice that a lot of this video has been sped up because there was over 2 hours of footage. But yeah, if you want to see how I got this look, keep on watching. I knew I wanted one of my eyebrows to be completely covered in that quilt type pattern, so I went ahead and blocked out one of my eyebrows. There are a ton of videos on YouTube on how to do this. I used the glue stick method, so I rubbed an Elmer's glue stick through my eyebrows back and forth and brushed them flat and then set it with translucent powder. I did 2 layers of that and then covered the entire thing with foundation. So next I went in with a cheap black eyeliner pencil just to sketch out how I wanted everything to look, what areas I wanted like the cotton to be coming out of, and then like where I wanted all of my lines to go. After drawing in all the lines, I started to go in with the paint, and at this point I realized for the illusion to really work, it really has to go down the neck too. So I went back with the eyeliner and just made more patches down the neck to where my shirt started. If you want to avoid having to paint all the way down the neck, maybe you could wear a turtleneck or something, but it definitely looks weird if you stop the paint at your face if you have your neck out. And back to the paint. So I painted each section a different color with a couple of repeats because I feel like it's realistic to have a quilt that has a couple of the same patches in it. This face paint I got on Amazon, and it is by Blue Squid, I believe. I'll put a picture of it here because I realize now that I didn't hold it up. But it was a really good palette to use. The colors were very vibrant and it was super easy to blend like eyeshadows on top. I would definitely recommend, especially for the price. For the amount of colors you get in the price point, not bad at all. So I'll put that link below. You'll also notice me using a lot of makeup wipes in this tutorial. Every time I felt like I messed up or if I didn't like how something looked, I would just grab a makeup wipe, wipe it off, and try again. So it's very forgiving. This paint was super easy to like remove and reapply, so that was good. To really make this look like different fabrics with different patterns on them, I drew a different pattern on each section of the quilt. So for the orange, I just drew some stripes in with red. I used the light green to make polka dots on that forest green, and then here I kind of made it look like a woolly fabric by adding little hashtags in brown. I did the same thing in the purple area. I noticed that I liked how the white looked, so I added some white to the blue as well. For the red, I wanted to do polka dots, but I quickly realized that drawing over the red wasn't really going to work, so I used my handy dandy makeup wipe and wiped out little polka dots that I would later color in with like a light blue shade. And I kind of wanted to make it look like it was coming off the edge of the seam. So you'll see like there's like a little half circle right at the neck. It really kind of made for a cute illusion. I filled in my polka dots with this cute powder blue color. I'm using a very tiny detail brush to do this. And then I went back with my wipe to just make sure all of my edges were clean. To fill in the area I left out, I'm using some foundation just so it won't be completely blank and it'll just look better since the rest of the face is painted. I did that over the eye and then I did that along the neck as well. Next, I'm going in with the white. These are the areas that it's going to look like the cotton is kind of coming out of, just to give it a canvas so that you don't see the skin underneath when the cotton ball is on top. And after this, I decided it was time to work on this bare eye. So I took out my BH Cosmetics palette, the Take Me Back to Brazil palette, the most colorful palette I have. And I decided to do something very doll-like, very pink, very feminine. I just took one hot pink shade and put it all over the lid and blended it nicely into the crease. And then I added a deeper purple shade in the outer corner and in the crease as well, just to give it some depth. I took the pink along the lower lash line as well, and then I also took that deeper purple shade on a small detail brush in the lower lash line to really deepen that up a bit. This next step was completely optional. I took this green eyeshadow thinking it was going to really show up, very pigmented, but it kind of just did a little bit of a shimmer, which is fine, but you can totally skip this step because you can't really see it. But that's why I went back into this palette and chose a darker blue to really give myself like some lines and just give that some texture and make it look like a different pattern. I lined the polka dots in black to make that pattern just really stick out. I love how much of an impact that black had on this particular pattern. So I did that, and since I was still using black, I decided to go ahead and start lining the seams at this point. So everywhere there's a seam where each of the patterns meet, I'm drawing a black line, and it basically makes it look very clean and helps sell the illusion that this is like a quilted doll. So I'm drawing all the black lines. This is very much sped up, but this took me a while to get these lines precise. Speeding through this because it took forever. The next thing I did was draw on all the stitches. So I just did little lines going in different directions. I really wanted it to seem like this is a handmade doll. It wasn't made professionally or something like that. Next, I went back to the lips. I filled those in. I originally didn't fill in the lips because I knew I was going to be working on this for a while, and I wanted to drink wine and not have to worry about accidentally licking my lips or something like that. So I waited and held out to do the lips. Off camera, I went ahead and put on my wig and my bow. I threw on some lashes and some winged liner. In hindsight, this wig was a nightmare to have on during this because I started getting hot. But anyway, I just wanted to see how it was going to look. I'm going in and adding highlights to my stitches, but in hindsight, I wish I would have put on the stitches and the highlighting last because I am going to add in some shading, and I wish it would have just been a blank canvas and then I could have put that on top. To create the illusion that the cotton is coming out of the seams, I literally took a cotton ball, ripped it apart, and glued it on top of that white area. You can use eyelash glue to do this. That will hold all night. I used some spirit gum for this because I didn't want to have a hard time taking it off, and I knew I was only going to have it on for a couple of hours, basically just while I was filming. But for longevity, I would definitely recommend just using eyelash glue. Don't even have to buy anything new. So now I'm just going into different colors and just shading the areas around all of the seams to give them some depth. So in the blue area, I used black. Around this pink, I used like a deep purple. On my skin tone, I used like a brown eyeshadow. I went around each of my polka dots and threw some shading on there, and then I kind of went back over each seam with the black eyeshadow on a tiny detail brush just to give it that kind of eerie look. Here you can kind of see what I mean by I wish I would have put the stitches on last, because I'm going in with my shading and I'm kind of smudging some of that white, and you see now I'm here reapplying the white highlights that I'd already done. To really drive home the idea of it being a ripped seam, I just glued on some thread to just be hanging in random places. I used eyelash glue for that part, and this is weave thread, not regular sewing thread. The weave thread is much thicker so you can see it a bit better. I think you wouldn't really be able to see too much if it was just the regular thread. And lastly, I just went back with more black just around the areas where the cotton was coming out of to really make it look like it was coming out of the skin. So I just deepened that shadow a bit. And this is the completed look. It was a bit time consuming, but I think the outcome is totally worth it. And hey, it saves you from having to buy like a physical costume. I think the makeup pretty much speaks for itself. Well, that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Bye!